And we are off. Can't believe I actually got out the door on time. I even surprised myself sometimes. All right, we're about an hour in now, and so far everything's good. I do feel like it's taken me a little bit longer to warm up, and I feel very slow at the moment. I can't see how fast I'm going, it's just too dark, but my guess is about 15 miles per hour or so. It's a lot colder this morning than I was expecting it to be. It's about 31 degrees Fahrenheit, so just below freezing. So tomorrow is the start of the festive 500. It starts on December 24th, and it goes a full week through Christmas and New Year's. So I'm just getting my bike prepared in case tomorrow I roll out. I'm probably going to try to get an early start and I'd like to get a really early start, because then I know as the sun is coming up, as I'm further into the ride, I should be able to hopefully get some snacks and food at different stores. It will be Christmas Eve and not everything is going to be open, but I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do. Okay, we just had our first stop back there at the service station. And we just grabbed a couple things to get us over to Middletown, which is probably another 50 miles or so. And one thing I've noticed about this Wahoo is I uploaded the route for today, and even though it's dark and I can't see the screen, it flashes to let you know that there's a turn coming. And it also goes with different colors depending on if you're going the wrong way. It'll turn red, and if it gives you a notification that you need to turn right or left, it gives you kind of like a whitish color light, or like a purplish almost. But anyway, so I can't see the screen. I kind of know the route anyways, but I've been watching it and observing it. Usually Miss Cools has it on her bike, so I don't get a chance to see what it's doing. Well, the sun is coming up finally, and I don't know if you can see it over there, but there's a mountain. That is Mount St. Helena. That's our first climb of the day. Okay, well, we just hit our first little snag on this ride. The Wahoo, this thing here, it literally just died about 5 miles down the road, and I just turned onto the road here for the first climb, and I went to check to see why the screen on the Wahoo wasn't showing anything, and it was shut off. So maybe the cold air did something. But anyway, I was gonna just turn around and just ride back to Calistoga and see if I could find a coffee shop over there. And anyhow, there's literally this electric outlet here, and there's a cord down here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of a charge on it and go use the restroom. There's a porta potty right over there. I need to go to the bathroom. It's 7:40 a.m. and I don't know. I feel a second ago I was gonna abandon this ride, but here we are. Well, this is definitely gonna slow me down a little bit, but it was actually making pretty good time. I think we're around 50 miles so far, and it's 7:30, and I was trying to get to Ukiah by 3 or 4 would be good. So that might be possible still. So we'll see. We're gonna let this charge while I'm going to the bathroom and see if we can get about half of it charged back up again. That might get us to Middletown, where we could go to a coffee shop there or something. I don't know. Well, we're up to 34%. It's 8:09. So this is gonna cost us about 45 minutes here. So it was 7:30 when I pulled in. So 45-minute delay. That's too bad. I was making such good time. Oh, I'm shaking. I want to get rolling. I want to start climbing and warm up. It's freezing out here. Oh, this is such a great climb. Finally starting to warm up a little bit. But here we go. I think this is like a 2,000-foot climb. But it's been a while. There's Mount St. Helena right ahead of us there. What a day. Highly recommend this climb. So this climb is called Ida Clayton, and it starts off paved, and then when you get to the top it turns into a gravel road, and from here we go down to the town of Middletown. It's 22 miles from here. Looks like the fire actually burned through here though. I'm not sure which one it was, but you can see some damage on some of these trees. So not as scenic as it used to be, but it's still worth it if you happen to be over here. Ida Clayton. Made it to Middletown, surprisingly. Stopped at the grocery store, grabbed some fruit, and now we're on 175. I did get to charge the battery a little more at the grocery store. We're now at 54%, and it seems to be holding a charge better now. I think part of it had to do with the cold, maybe, and now I have it in my back pocket, so keeping it warm. But I don't know, it's hard to say. Maybe it was turned on all night, I don't know. So I'm afraid to run the navigation feature because I'm not sure if that's what was wearing the battery down. So now I've just got to go by, I just looked at the map to see if I can figure out where the next turns are. So I'm trying to get to a town called Kelseyville, and there's a road called Bottle Rock Road. So I can get off of this highway here. This is Highway 175. This is Cobb Mountain ahead of me. Looks pretty beautiful today. The next biggest climb for the day is coming up here soon. I think it's Bottle Rock Road, but I'm not sure. This is a pretty decent climb. Highway's not too busy. A couple cars here and there. is Bottle Rock Road, and the next town is Kelseyville. This road's not bad. The grades are, medium steepness. Not a lot of traffic, a few cars here and there, but yeah, the views are pretty nice. And yeah, I gotta say, this is a pretty cool road I've never ridden on before. That's south, and we're heading northwest. Well, it turns out this road's closed here. So luckily for us, the creek is dry. Otherwise, I don't think we would have been able to cross right here. There's no bridge. Nice little dirt road here. It's actually pretty smooth. A little bit of washboard, but smoother than it looks. Oh, wow. This is beautiful. Wow. I had no idea this was going to go on this long. I thought I was going to be paid before this. So we're home now, and I need to fill in the rest of the story from that gravel descent. From there was about after the descent, there was roughly a 13 or 14 mile, more or less flat section of road into the town of Ukiah. And I got to Ukiah at 3 o'clock. I was surprised that I still made it on time given the number of stops that I needed to make along the way. The stop in Kelseyville, I used the outlet there for about 15 minutes. And so, all these stops eventually just seemed like they were accumulating to the point where I wasn't going to make it to Ukiah by 3. And 3 was my upper limit, really. 4, I guess I could have dealt with 4 even, but let me explain why I decided to pull the plug on this ride. So when I got to Ukiah, I went to the taqueria that was there and I ordered 2 burritos, and they said that they were closing in 10 minutes. So it was Christmas Eve, and I knew things were going to close early, but I didn't realize they would be closing at 3 o'clock. So I really got lucky. But the problem there was I needed to find an outlet to charge up all my devices, or else I'm going to get out to the coast where surely nothing would be open out there. I mean, those little coastal towns are hardly open anyways, let alone on Christmas Eve and going into Christmas Eve night. So I looked around for an outlet. I went to the gas station, and the attendant there was very nice, and he allowed me to plug it in. And so I sat there. I ate one of the burritos while I was waiting. And so about 15 minutes of charge, I got out of there, and I thought, well, I'm looking at the clock. It's now 3:45. I didn't get that much charge in the Wahoo. It's only like at 27% at this point. And it had died on the descent down into Ukiah. Everything died. My Wahoo died. Then the camera that I was using, the little Sony action camera, I guess I accidentally, when I was putting it in my pocket, I hit the record button on accident, or it bumped onto something while I was riding. Either way, I had about an hour and 15 minutes of my pocket being recorded. So that battery was
nearly dead, and so I needed to really get like recharge. I don't have one of those spare battery banks, which in hindsight, that might have been a good feature or accessory to bring with me, and that's something I'm going to go get today, actually.
Okay, and we are off for round number 2. I did get a little later start this time. It's now 5:30 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. like last time. I decided to get that extra hour of sleep because I realized that you can lose an hour very easily along the way. So we're gonna have a full moon tonight, so putting in that hour towards the end will probably, in the big picture, not make much of a difference. So it is now 6:49 a.m. on December the 28th, 2020, and we are off for the big adventure today. Let's hope we can be successful. I guess last time was successful. I just didn't do the whole ride. So hopefully I can finish it this time. Well, the sun is starting to come up. And right over there, I don't know if you can see it, that's Mount St. Helena. That's the mountain we were riding up last time. And today, the route, I've revised the route a little bit, and we're not gonna go over to that side this time, but we are gonna connect onto that route through a little town called Cloverdale. So right straight ahead, that's the Geysers Peak. And we're gonna be going right up alongside that mountain this time. So the course is gonna be about the same distance. It's gonna be about, I think it's gonna be roughly 15 miles shorter, but I can pick up that 15 miles on the end if I'm feeling up to it. So. This is downtown Cloverdale, and we're gonna stop right over there. There's a little store, and there's also a cafe here, but it doesn't look open. Okay, well, they say they open at 9, and it's now 8:49, so I guess I should wait. So I gotta get some food, because there's not gonna be another stop until we get to Ukiah, which is quite a ways. In fact, the mountain that's right over here, that mountain right up there, is the first climb, the first real climb of this ride. So we gotta get food for that, so I'm gonna have to wait. So our first climb of the day, the first real climb, probably the biggest climb of the day, is up there. And you can see it goes up pretty high. I think it's like 3,000 feet. Today, we're using the Garmin 500. I figured out how to load a ride to it, and so far the navigation thing is actually working, which surprised me. I've had this Garmin for since 2012, I think. Oh, this is a really nice climb. That's Cloverdale back there. This thing's really steep. It's the gradient steep, but what a beautiful place. I thought all this burned in the last fire, but apparently it survived. So, wow. I'm getting hot. I'm gonna have to take off some layers soon. Now gravel grinding. I think. It did rain a few days ago, So hopefully these roads should be pretty smooth today. We got a chance to dry out for a couple days. Well, unfortunately, all of these roads that branch off of here go onto private property. So I'm not sure I'm gonna take a chance there and go through it. So I've had to turn around and head back down and decide when I get to the bottom if I want to keep going up. I could take Highway 128 up to Mountain View Road as an option. Just depends on how busy it is. I don't really like 128. It's a little narrow and there's definitely traffic, but maybe since it's Monday late morning it might be okay. So, but that means we got to go all the way back to Cloverdale. Oh, bummer. That was going to be such a cool route. Oh well, that's how it goes. So down, down, down we go. Okay, so we made it to Boonville and we are now on Mountain View Road heading towards the coast. I'm currently sitting at mile 110 and this is 31 miles to Point Arena, and then from Point Arena back is at least 60 something, I would guess. So right there we're a little over 200, and I could add the rest on at the end if I'm feeling up to it, but all this climbing is brutal. This climb here is very steep, and hopefully we get most of the climbing over with that way, but I have a feeling there's going to be a series of climbs on this road. But finally we're off the highway. The highway was not fun at all. I don't like that highway. It's kind of, the traffic drives pretty fast and the shoulder's narrow, and there's also a headwind. So it's all the things you don't want, but we're done. Well, we are getting close to finishing this up, and as much as I would love to keep going and try to add the extra 15 miles or whatever, I'm not going to. I'm just gonna go home and go to bed.
Good morning. Well, it's the day after, and I have a lot I can say about this ride. I'm trying to condense it down to the main highlights because there's a lot of things that I could talk about. But first and foremost, I need to say that it did not add up to the 400K that I was hoping it would. But that's what it is. So this video is not a success video. This is a failure video. I did not meet the expectations that I had set out. But but seriously, I feel like it's a success. I didn't reach my goal for mileage wise, but at the end, I'm very happy with how things turned out overall. I've really want to share some of the highs and lows of this ride because that there was so much to say. There's just so much to talk about with when you go out and do something like this. You know, it's very easy to sketch out a route. It's really easy to convince yourself that it's going to be easy until you go out and do it and it's cold. And you start in the dark and you finish in the dark. And so that was one of the big challenges. The other really big challenge was finding food. I didn't think that it would be so difficult. But you know, with COVID going on and a lot of stores are closed, coffee shops are closed, cafes, I guess, if you want to, depending where you're at. You know, so finding food was really difficult. And because my route got rerouted, as I mentioned, the spot where I ended up going, I had assumed that there would be something open. There was a store open. I managed to catch 2 stores that were open on the ride. So anyway, food was a challenge. The other big challenge was routing. My little Garmin, actually the routing feature worked fine. It's just that the battery died about 7 hours in. And once you plug this external battery, say I bought this external battery pack, and when you go to if you plug this in and you use the USB port, it will automatically stop the ride and shut off the device so it can charge. So that's not very practical for really long rides. This battery, the battery in the iPhone, only goes now probably 8 hours or so as long as you don't touch it. But I had to charge it twice. I had to plug this into here twice, but this worked great. So if you are out doing really long distance stuff and you need to, I guess, charge up, one of these is kind of cool. It's not a cheap device, but it has a little outlet plug so you can plug it in when you are somewhere, get some charge in it. It comes with these 2 cords, Android and iPhone cords. So I don't know. This was cool, and when it was plugged in, you can kind of hold them both at the same time. They're about the same size. You know, this is the iPhone SE. Anyway, this is not a tech review channel, so I'm not promoting this product. I just bought this, so if anyone was kind of thinking about, you know, how can I charge devices? My other thought was to get the device that charges off of your dynamo. But the setup on that would have taken time, and because I wanted to do this ride and I just found out that this Wahoo wasn't working very well, I had to just make I needed something local and quick, so this was a quick solution, and it worked. So anyway, highs and lows. Definitely, I was not in good enough shape to do that ride. I really bit off a lot more than I could actually chew. I should have prepared a little bit more. The last Mountain View Road actually is where things really started. I really started suffering. So I got to the top of that first climb, had to backtrack and then come up with a new route on the fly, and I ended up on a busy highway, and I did not enjoy it at all. There was a lot of traffic. There was a headwind because I was heading northwest, so I was kind of going right into the headwind, and then started the climb. And the climb on Mountain View Road, which was kind of the main climb of, well, the second main climb of the ride. It was just super steep in the beginning, and then it was unforgiving. You would drop down and then you would start climbing, and then you would drop down and then climb. And then after that, actually out on the coast, there's not really any flat roads out there either. It's the whole coast of Northern California is very rolling terrain. So even on Highway 1, which you would think, oh, it's a highway, so it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. It really took a lot out of me. But I still am glad I did it. The ride down the coast, it was a full moon, so that was a highlight. And the fact that it was getting late on a weekday, there was I think I counted maybe 2 cars on the entire stretch of about 50 miles, I'm going to say. 50 miles of just riding at night. And it was so nice to be at that point in the ride when you're tired and you're fatigued, to not have cars buzzing by you, to just be all alone, kind of suffering all by yourself. That was actually a highlight. I know it sounds miserable, and it was, but it's the highlight of being on a road, 2 lanes wide. You can take the center of the road where it's really smooth, and you can just pedal. And when you can hear cars coming from a long ways away. The ocean was off to my right, and right now there's a big swell in, and so the waves, you could hear the waves just crashing, and you could see them just and then the moon just lighting up the foam in the ocean. It was really surreal. So that was definitely a highlight. That kept me from going insane, I think. I don't know what I would do if I was on some kind of remote road that whole time at the end when you're just tired and you're out in the forest somewhere. That would have been pretty tough. So I hope you guys enjoyed all this. I know it was a long video. Hope you're all having a wonderful holiday. And if I don't see you before, have a very happy new year.